you mentioned social media. And I know both Saskia and also Gobierno is doing a lot in terms of social media. So Saskia, can you share a little bit of what you guys are doing in terms of social media? Where are you exactly? Why did you decide to do, I don't know, Facebook or Twitter or blogging, whatever that might be, and how maybe that complement the other online efforts that you are maintaining?
Sure. So in conjunction with the launch of our campaign with the rebrand, the NBA rebrand, we launched 5 social networking pages that were all branded NBA. So we have a page on Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, ¿Qué pasa? And Mi Página. Mi Página is actually Univision's social networking website. Facebook is by far the largest, the highest participation that we have and the largest following that we have. We have over 260,000 fans on that page right now. And what, part of the reason we did it is because this gives us another level of interaction with our fans, and it gives us an opportunity to listen to what they want to see from us. And it gives us, we're able to do it in real time. So we can listen to what they want and deliver it in real time, which is very different than what you can do on the content side for websites, for example, where you have to plan the content. And so we started with a general market and the NBA page, and those have grown. Our general market social Facebook page has 5 million followers for the NBA. But on the Hispanic side, what we do on Facebook, which is our most important page, is we try to make it as interactive as possible. One of the features that we have, for example, is we have this former Latino NBA player, his name is Felipe Lopez, who goes out to games with a flip cam and interviews some of our players when they come through New York. Well, we started doing this, and then we thought, how can we incorporate our fans into this process? So we started asking questions. Our fans on Facebook, we'd say, Felipe Lopez is interviewing Allen Iverson. Felipe Lopez is interviewing Kobe Bryant this Friday. What would you ask him if you had an opportunity to ask him a question? And so we ask them to give us their name and the country of origin, so where they're from. And then Felipe picks the best 3 questions, and he goes out and he asks it as part of his interview to the players on a flip cam. So people want to come back and see if their questions were asked and listen to what the players have to say, to their questions. And it's almost like an insider feature, right? Because they want to get to know our players, and they don't have an opportunity to do that. Some of them don't have an opportunity to go to our games. And so we try to implement features like this that really gives them that chance to be closer to our game and be emotionally connected to our game. And that just for us is going to give us long-term, lifelong fans. And that's going to drive our business in viewership and attendance to games, buying our merchandise. And so we replicate that in everything that we have on the social networking site.
Great. Out of curiosity, how are you measuring success with that? I know
for social media.
For social media, what are you looking at right now? What kind of indicators or data?
It's such an interesting question.
I know everybody always asks that, but I have to.
It's tough because you have this large following, but how do you convert that into, buying a product or watching our games or? So for viewership, actually, it's a big tool that we use. So we drive tune-in through our social media. So right before a game, we'll let people know that our game is going to be on this station at this time. And then during the game, so throughout the game, we'll do updates. So, so-and-so leading by 2 points, Kobe Bryant has 30 points. Tune in to watch the second half of the game, or tune in to watch the second quarter of the game. And we do it throughout the game so that we're constantly trying to drive viewership. It's one of our biggest businesses, our TV rights. On the merchandise side, we've just implemented a shop tab on the general market Facebook page, so people can actually buy merchandise on the page now, and we're looking to implement that on the Hispanic, on the NBA page. The numbers aren't great. It's tough to, people still aren't comfortable buying on Facebook. They don't understand what the shop tab really means, and is it safe? Is it safe purchasing? So it's sort of still evolving, but for us, it's really a tool to drive viewership, which at the end of the day is how we measure.
And to brand yourself.
Right.
And so, because then you can be somewhere else selling, but they know who you are.
Absolutely.
So you can measure success by that too.
Yeah, on the branding side, it's a huge.
Exactly.
Yeah,
The branding side, I think that's the main.
How about Gobierno USA? When do you guys decide to start with Facebook?
That's a good question. Why? Why do we decide? Well, we are all about research in the government.
And numbers.
And so, no, but we do, we try to make decisions based on hard data, and if there is hard data on something, we will use it. And we did a lot of research during 2007, 2008, which is when we started conceiving a social media strategy. We started talking about doing something like that back then. And ComScore Media Metrics had a report that I thought was very interesting, because at the beginning there were these two sites, MySpace and Facebook, right? And they were neck to neck, and people belonged to either one, and they didn't care who. Well, in 2008, and how things evolve, and how MySpace now has become mainly like a music or artistic site. That's who's there, right? In 2008, this report showed us that 68%, the Hispanic audience for Facebook had grown 68% versus 22% for MySpace. So no-brainer, we decided Facebook. Okay, that was an easy decision. Hispanics were already there, and we wanted to engage with them, and so we went there, and before we had the page, and we had the name, and we had reserved that domain and all that. But before we actually launched that page, we spent some time crafting our strategy and trying to figure out what it was that we were going to offer. Because we already had the website, why go somewhere else? And what is different about going somewhere else? And so that took some doing. And so things have evolved. We decided back then that we were going to show a friendly tone, that we were going to offer sort of like a different face of the government, a government that went to the people to just sort of interact with them in a different tone, although the message is the same, but in a more informal arena. Try to bring people closer, try to build that trust and that easy path and access to government information. We came up with daily messages. Then we decided, I'm getting ahead of myself. I should say that we also, at the same time, launched our Twitter account. And pretty quickly, we figured that social media takes a lot of time. Yeah? Yes. So we have to do something about that, because there are so many of us working in this. And so to mitigate that, our partners in Captura created a tool that we can use and everybody can use, and we were able to schedule Twitter messages that would then post automatically. We send them through Twitter automatically, and they post in Facebook. So we said, this is great. So we sat there and one afternoon wrote the messages for like 2 weeks, and then they just would go out. We also figured out that what time of day Twitter was most popular to reach people, so we send them at that time of day to try to, maximize our audience and all that. And then we're in the business of creating content. We're lazy people. So we create content once and use it everywhere. So after that, the progression was, well, we have all this, we call them face tweets, because they go from Twitter to Facebook. So we call them face tweets. So we had the face tweets, and we said, well, we have the content, we do it anyway, we have the articles are already there, we tweet about the articles, we have this original content, where else can we put it? So contacted MSN Latino, and they really liked our content. And we said, great. So they have, on their homepage, they have an area that is featured content. So we, every week, send them these face tweets. They're a little bit tweaked, but they're already done. So we had another place to go, and it's another partnership. It doesn't cost them anything. It doesn't cost us much either, because obviously we already have this content. So we sort of repurpose it a little bit and send it. And every single week on Wednesdays, we're there on MSN Latino homepage. And its government information is out there, so I think it's...
I'm going to do a time check, because I really want to open it up for questions from the public. So I'm going to ask you a question, the three of you, and then maybe we can just hear from you guys. So let me ask you, how do you see the future of Latinos online? What do you think is the next big thing coming our way? And then if we can briefly go, the three of you, and then we can just open it up. Okay.
So I think there's two things. One is just an explosion of growth, furthering the growth that's already there. But I think mobile is for more of the youth market, going to be it's there, but no one's doing that much, so mobile.
I would echo that. I would say mobile. And I think embedding, sort of social media, I think still lives in isolation to a large extent in this market. So it's really embedding it into your overall digital efforts. They should support what you already do, and your digital efforts should support your social media efforts. So they really, and that's as simple as, having the links to your social networking pages on your homepage, on your website. So I think it's the embedding of efforts, but then mobile, I think, is going to be huge, and that's actually where we're moving into now.
Great.
I have to agree with the mobile strategy, and we are also working on that.
There's a trend here.
Yes, absolutely. I have to tell you that 73% of Hispanics have cell phones. So mobile is sort of like the thing to do. And, but also I think that new places in social media. I think that social media is here to stay. I don't think it's going anywhere. And there are other, new platforms that are opening up, and I think that that is also a valuable avenue, but mobile definitely.
So you can ask more questions about mobile if you have. So let's open it up. I think Julie has a mic, and Andrew does too, so just raise your hand.
This question is for Laura. I'm also with a government agency, obviously, and one of the biggest, I guess, disagreements that I have a lot of times when I'm talking to our, my supervisors and everything regarding reaching out to Hispanics is the whole content of them taking the English version of their pages and just translating them. And I keep telling them that they're not targeting the Hispanic population by doing so. And how have you guys, what kind of changes have you guys made as far as creating original pages for the Hispanic group?
I think that this is a very relevant question. Thank you for that, because it goes to the core. It's to be culturally sensitive. Some information obviously is for everybody, and whether you're Hispanic or not, you have to buy a house, or you have to find medical attention, or you have to put your kids in school. And some of the information is going to be the same. You can adapt the tone, you can adapt the way you present that information, but then there's some information that is not needed, right? And I have a great example to give you, for example, and you can take that back maybe. USA.gov has several audiences, and one of them is federal employees. Well, federal employees is a wonderful audience for USA.gov, but it's not so wonderful for Gobierno USA.gov, because federal employees are required to speak English. So why would I go to a Spanish language site? And that takes away from us, very valuable real estate. That in online you only have so much space, right? So we decided very early on and talked to our superiors about this and got their buy-in on this, that a better audience for us would be newcomers, people who are trying to establish themselves here. And so we focus our information instead of in federal employees that didn't seem like a good fit for us, but newcomers seem like a great fit. So we went that way. And it's been very successful. It's one of the gateways that gets more visits, along with the visitors that obviously we also have.
I have a question for Saskia. How do you see how does the NBA see other sports, like for example soccer? Because I think part of the acculturation process is moving from soccer to American sports. It's my case. It's very I don't know.
Controversial.
Can I hear soccer one more time?
I think that's the case of most Hispanics, especially male Hispanics. That's my case. I'm very reluctant to watch American sports. I just watch soccer. So I was wondering if you feel soccer is your competitor, if you, for example, put some ads on soccer sites or try to get that audience.
That's a good question. We actually do advertise on. So, do you watch MLS or do you watch?
No.
Okay. And we're friends.
I like European soccer.
Okay, so that's actually a very good question. We get that. We get that a lot. So there's a couple of levels to it. One is, the NBA is an American league, but basketball is not really an American sport. people grow up playing basketball in Latin America. Argentina, Brazil, Mexico, Puerto Rico, the Caribbean. We are, in Mexico, for example, we're the second most popular sport after soccer. So